Hi, if this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. Or if you're like me and you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Chaotic Curl, and in today's video, I'm actually going to be making a very summer-centric top. I'm going to be using granny squares because, of course, they are my obsession, but I'm going to be making them in this yarn, the Mandala Ombre, in the color Chi. I got a lot of this yarn, and I'm just trying to use it up for any project I can think of. So this yarn actually does take a 5.5 millimeter hook, which I'm sure you guys are very used to seeing by now, is the hook that I'm going to be using to make my granny squares. So the plan is to make 8 granny squares, and what I'm going to do is actually sew them together in groups of 4, just so that I have one for each side. And I will be making a slip stitch rib. Well, I'm in between a slip stitch rib and just making a regular band for the bottom where I can just tie it closed. But that is the idea that I have in my head for this week's project. So we're gonna get started on those granny squares, but of course don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel just so that you can stay up to date with all the other videos that I'm gonna be making. Also, don't forget to hit that little notification bell so that you get the notifications when I post my videos. And don't forget to follow me over on my Instagram at chaoticcurl_crafts. But let's get started on the granny squares that we're going to be making for this. So to start my granny square, as usual, I am going to make that magic circle. This is just me setting it up like I always do. And I will, of course, start with that single crochet stacked turning chain like normal. So what I'll do here is, like building a regular granny square, I'm going to start off with my stacked single crochets, and then I'm going to add 2 double crochet right next to it, and then of course do another cluster of 3 double crochet, and I'll repeat that 4 times to have the entire square completed. And in between each cluster, I'm going to be chaining 1. Okay, so this is the base round of the granny square. You just have to make sure to pull that string, pull everything tight together, and then I'm going to pass the stitch through at the top of my stacked single crochet, so that way it's a completed square. Then in the space right next to where we attached our yarn, we just get started with that next row. So I did my stacked single crochet, and of course we just add 2 more double crochet right next to it into the same space, chain 1, and then we're going to add another cluster of 3 double crochets into that same space. And so that's going to be the first corner in our second round. So for the rest of this round, we're just going to continue working into those spaces that we made in that previous round in the corner spaces. And for each corner, we're going to do a cluster of 3 with 1 chain space in the middle, and then another cluster of 3 for each corner of this round. Okay, so after passing this stitch through, what we do is just right in that same space between the 2 clusters, we're going to do our stacked single crochet, and we start off on row 3. So now for this row and for every other round after here, we're going to be working our 3 clusters of 3 in each space. So not in the double crochets, but in the spaces. And of course for the corners, it's going to be a cluster of 3 one chain, and then another cluster of 3, and I just continue building it out this way until I get the number of rows that I need, so until it measures out to where I need. If I'm not mistaken, I did 8 rows for these granny squares, but this is the same process that I followed. For each round I would just level up by doing the chained single crochet turning chain and then clusters of 3. Okay, and as you guys see, I just continued building it up the same way like I had previously said, with putting each cluster of 3 double crochets into the spaces, and I built it out to 8 rows. So this is the last row of my granny square. I just wanted you guys to see what it looks like once it's all worked up to the size that I needed it to be. And just so you know, once I measured the square at the end, it was about 6.5 inches. So I did make 8 squares at 6.5 inches, but in the end I only ended up using 6 of the 8 squares. So you'll see that once I make the adjustment further down in the project. Okay, and just so everyone can see, here are the 8 granny squares that I made. Now from here I'm actually going to go ahead and slip stitch them together, so in clusters of 4 for the 2 straps. So that's going to be 4 and then 4 that I'm going to do together. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what that looks like once they're all done. So this is what the straps look like now that all the squares have been slip stitched together. I did make sure to clean up all of the loose ends, so anything from the center or anything from the outsides has been all weaved in. This is what the slip stitching seam is looking like on the wrong side for both sides. So what I'm going to do is actually sew it onto the top so that the invisible side or the right side is showing where you don't see the seam. But this is what my 2 straps are looking like so far. So now I'm actually going to start working on the waistband. So to get started on the strap, I started off by making a chain of 189, if I'm not mistaken. So this is just me starting off the chain. Of course, you want to make sure that you do the chain evenly so that all of the stitches are the same length. You don't want any of the stitches stretching out so that it looks awkward or a little long in the middle, but that's what's happening here. And then of course after the chain I started with the double crochet row, which the pattern does call for. I did make sure to link the pattern that I used in the description down below, so don't forget to check that out. But like I always do, I started with my stacked single crochet as the turning chain. So instead of chaining 3, I just did that one, and across this entire chain into the back of the chain, so in those little lumps at the back of the chain, I did my double crochet all the way across. Okay, so after the full double crochet row, we're going to get started on that mesh row. So now what we're going to do is do my stacked single crochet for the turning chain. So we do 1 single crochet, go into the back leg of that single crochet and pull the yarn through to do that second single crochet right on top of it. Then we're going to chain 2. We skip 2 of the double crochets from the previous row, and in that third one we do another double crochet. Then after that double crochet, we go ahead and we chain 2 again. We'll skip 2 of the double crochet from the previous row and do another double crochet in that 3rd stitch. And we're just going to continue that way all the way to the end of this row. Okay, so this is the row where we're actually going to get started on the shape of the heart now that we have the 2 base rows established. So what we do, what you saw there, was I did my stacked double crochet, my stacked single crochet, chain 2. Now I'm doing a double crochet into that next double crochet available, and in this one I'm not going to chain 2. In that next double crochet, I'm actually going to double crochet 4 double crochets into the same space. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, here's my 3rd one, and here's the 4th double crochet. Now we're not going to do any chain spaces or anything like that. We're just going to go right into that next double crochet and put a double crochet. Now after this double crochet, you're going to chain 2 and then double crochet into the next double crochet that comes up, and then we would do again like we did in the last one, where we're not going to add any chains or anything, and in that next double crochet we're going to add 4 double crochet into that same stitch. And I'm just going to continue this way along the same line. So it's a double crochet, chain 2, another double crochet, and then right after that 1 double crochet you do 4 double crochets, then 1 double crochet, and then again double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. And we just continue that way until you get to that last stitch, which should end on a double crochet. Okay, so for this row, we're actually doing the center portion of the heart, so where the majority of the girth is. So I did do my single crochet turning chain and chain 2. Now as you see, I'm just doing that double crochet here, and then I'm actually going to chain 2 before I get started on doing 6 double crochet across these stitches. So that's 1 double crochet, and then remember the 4 we did in that other stitch, we're going to double crochet across each of those, and then again for that last double crochet that we had added. So that's 6 total double crochets, and after we do the 6, we chain 2, and then we go and continue double crocheting into the next heart. So that would be another 6 double crochet into that heart space, and of course we would just continue doing that until I reach the end of the strap. So now for this row, as you see, I did my turning chain and I chained 2. We're actually going to start double crocheting 3 together. So I start like a normal double crochet, pull through 2, but then I yarn over again, go into the next stitch, pull the yarn through, and then we're going to go through 2 loops again, yarn over, go into that third stitch, pull the yarn through, and then we go through 2 stitches. And then to finish the double crochet 3 together, we're going to go through all the stitches, so it should be 4 loops on your hook. Then we chain 2 to make the space in the center of the heart, and then we do another double crochet 3 together. So I yarn over and go through that first stitch, pull the yarn through, yarn over, and go through 2 loops only. This is just establishing that first single crochet of the double crochet. So for that third stitch, we yarn over, go through that last stitch, pull the yarn through, and go through 2 stitches, and then we go through all 4 loops on the hook to finish off that double crochet. Now for the space between the 2 hearts that I'm making, we're going to chain 3 chains before we start another double crochet 3 together. So as you see, again, it's like making a regular double crochet. I'm going to yarn over, go through that first stitch, pull everything together like if we're making a double crochet, go only through 2, and then we stop and yarn over to start the double crochet for the next stitch. Pull the yarn over and go through 2 loops, again yarn over, go into that third stitch, pull the yarn through, and then go again through 2 loops, and then to finish off the double crochet 3 together, we go through all 4 loops on the hook. And again, we're going to chain 2 for the space between the 2 peaks of the heart. So we have a chain 2 between the double crochet 3 togethers that we're making, and again a chain 3 for the spaces between each heart. So here I am just finishing off that double crochet 3 together for the second heart, and just doing it a little slower so you guys can get a better idea, or so you guys can see how it's done. And once we finish that last one, we yarn over and we go through all 4 loops on the hook, and then again to finish the heart, we chain 3 and we move on to the next heart, which of course means we're moving on to the next double crochet 3 together. And you would just continue this way until you make it to the end of the strap. So for this row, I actually had to make an adjustment from the previous row since I didn't have enough chains. As you can see, it ends on the heart. So I just double crocheted 2 together and then left that last double crochet single just so I could end on a double crochet. So what I did for the start of this row was I did my single crochet, turning chain, my stack single crochets, chain 2, and in that chain 2 space between the hearts, I added my double crochet, chained 2, and as you can see at the top of the double crochet 3 together, I added another double crochet. In the 3 chain space, I added a double crochet, chained 2, and then another double crochet in the 3 chain space. Now I can continue as the pattern directs. So I chain 2 and then I add a double crochet in the chain 2 space between the heart, and then again you just continue chaining 2, and for the 3 chain spaces from the previous row, you're gonna double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet again back into that same space, and then you just chain 2 and double crochet into the chain 2 spaces between the heart, and you're just going to continue that way until you get to the end of the row, and your last row and your last stitches, should be a chain 2 and a double crochet at the end of the strap. Now this is the last row of the pattern, so what we're going to do here is just add double crochets all the way across. So of course you're going to do 2 double crochet in that 2 chain space, and then 1 double crochet for each double crochet. So you're just double crocheting all the way across.
until you get to the end of the strap. And here is everything all together. That is the completed strap. As you can see, I hope you can tell the little hearts are there. I love the way they look, super adorable. And my granny squares. So now I'm ready to put the top together. Everything's ready to go.
Okay, so I was able to finish the strap, and of course I have my granny squares finished. So now I need to see how I'm gonna place the squares onto the strap, of course, so they're not too far apart, showing too much that I might not want to show, but so that they're also not too close together, so that I'm not showing from the other side too much that I want to show. So I'm gonna do that with you guys right now. Just put it on my body and pin the squares in the place that I want them, in the front and in the back, just so that I can sew everything in place and it be properly where I want it on my body. So let's get to that right now. So I'm just gonna get the strap and wrap it around. Well, let me get a better angle. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna take this strap here, just from front to back, make sure it's even. And then I'm going to safety pin it in place. Here we go. Okay, so the strap is on, and now I do the squares. So we're gonna have the dark purple with the light purple in the front. So let's just take more pins. Okay. And we'll pin it there. I don't want to put it too tight, just so that nothing is stretched more than it needs to be. And so we're gonna pin that one there. Okay, so that's one square, or one strap. Now let's do the other side. And we do the exact same way. So my safety pins, and I'm just going to pin the first one. There you go. And that's the front. Now I'm just gonna take it off my shoulders, spin it around, and back on my shoulders. Let's go. Oh, it's actually bigger than I thought. No, it's not. Okay. So we do it here too, just so that I have the option of wearing it either way. So I can wear it either with the tie in the front or with the tie in the back. You know, versatility. It's all about having options. So we take the other side too, and I'm just gonna pin the two in the middle since the sides work themselves out. And actually for this one, I'm just gonna do it right next to that first one I did. So now it's all pinned. The squares are pinned to the strap. So what I'm gonna do now is just mattress stitch them all together just so that it's invisible. You can't see the seams or anything. Well, you can't see the thread that I'm stitching with. And I'll come back to show you guys once it's done. Okay, I have an update to report to you guys. I was able to finish sewing this side with all 4 squares sewn onto the strap. Well, not all 4, but you know, all 4 squares included into the strap of the top. And unfortunately, this side is a little too big for me. So what I did was I repinned it on this side, as you can see, to include only 3 of the granny squares. And then I'll have 1 hanging off like this. So what I'm gonna do is undo this square so that way I can put it in through, well, I can hang it just like this one, and then hopefully that'll be enough length for the straps to fit me properly without going down too far low. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll come back and show you guys what it's looking like. I hope you can see me. Okay, so this is the side where everything is stitched together, and as you can see, it does hang very low. And this is the side that I repinned so that there are only 3 granny squares included. And I'm gonna sew it together, but from the looks of it right now, it should be at the length where I want it to fall. So this is the difference in the length. So hopefully undoing this side and the back will make it so that they both do match. But I'll show you guys that once it's done. And as promised, here's the top. Everything is sewn together and I love the way it looks. So here is the finished piece. As you saw, I took out that extra square. I just removed it completely since it didn't really make sense to have it hanging down. But this is what the bralette looks like with the tie in the front. I love it. I love the fit. I feel good. I feel covered. And I feel like it's perfect for the summer. Now let me show you what it looks like with the tie in the back. And as promised, this is what it looks like with the tie in the back. I really do like the way it turned out. I love how the 2 squares in the front are the same. So they have the light purple and the dark purple. And then back here, or here, I like how it's different. So even though the lighter purple or the white is in the middle of both, the dark purple and the more reddish purple are on the outside. So it's like contrasting on this side, and then on the other side they match. I'm super happy with the way the top turned out. I just wanted to thank you all for joining me in today's video for this week's project. I'm super excited and I'm super happy that I was able to finish it before the weekend. So I'll be able to wear it over the weekend. And of course, I'm going to make sure to post pictures on my Instagram at chaoticcurl_crafts so you guys can see how I styled this bralette and how it did in the sun. And of course, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can keep up with the next projects that I'm going to be making. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that it lets you know as soon as the videos have been posted. And keep an eye out for next week's video. I'm not sure what I'm going to be making yet, but I'm already looking forward to it. So I'll see you guys there. Thanks again for joining me in today's video, and have a great day, a great week, a great weekend, whenever it is that you're watching this. Bye!